Hey, Drew, guess what?
What?
We're in an advertisement.
Well, that is neat.
Anchor has asked us to help advertise the platform we use for this very podcast.
Using Anchor has made it really easy for us to distribute our podcast across almost every streaming service and has helped us grow to the point we're at now.
Yeah, thanks, Anchor. You're the best.
If you have any questions about using Anchor, please reach out to us. We'd love to share our personal experience with you and help you get started doing your own podcast.
All right, let's start the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Bottle Podcast. I am your host, Chris Sinclair, and I'm joined by my fellow host, Drew Garrison. We are a couple of self-proclaimed booze pundits with a lifetime of industry experience reaching all the way back to the days of washing dishes and cleaning pizza ovens, all the way to owning multiple businesses and selling some of the most exclusive brands in the world. Our goal is to walk you through today's most interesting alcohol industry headlines while sipping on some dope fucking shit while we do it. Drew, homie, my brother from another mother, what is up today?
I don't know if I'm able to match all that energy or if we're selling spirits or birds because you kind of mumbled that one part, but this episode is more exciting than the most invigorating $600 stimulus you can think of. We have some very, very exciting news out of the TTB. We have a lineup of our top threes in multiple categories with a very special guest who may or may not give the best hugs in the world. Of course, we're going to have our dope follow of the week. We are going to skip our sexy bottle because our guest tonight is so sexy we couldn't handle that much sexiness. But first, our guest tonight is the project launch manager, quote unquote, head of education for Future Bars down in San Francisco. His name is Jayson Wilde. Jayson, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hey, what's going on?
And we got to start it off. Jayson, what are you drinking?
Right now, I'm actually drinking one of my top three. Should I dare say it, or should I hold out for a second?
I say you say it.
I say you say it too.
Well,
Just go for it.
I am currently sipping on the 2017 Rey Campera Araqueño Mezcal.
Oh,
I've been waiting to get this bottle because I feel like it's one of those things that I've got the opportunity to taste a lot of the Rey Campera lineup, but I've never been able to taste Araqueño. Every single time, like somebody comes by and tastes me on it, it's just like, oh yeah, we don't have that one because like it's so limited, we never find it. So I saw it and had to have it. That's that. And, it's amazing.
That is such a great pick. I love that. And Araqueños are excessively hard to get your hands on. Recently, we just got one through Real Minero that they use an ancestral process in order to produce it, and it is just phenomenal. But yeah, you don't see a whole lot of Araqueños that are making up. I mean, I guess maybe more and more as time goes on and people get more excited about agave in general. But this is a super, super exciting one to get. So good pull, man. You said, and so this is the 2017 batch.
Yeah, it is delightful. It's got a bunch of like fruity notes. It has kind of like your sandstone kind of like minerality to it, and it kind of like has a little bit of this like kind of like savory spice to it as well too. It's just very, very like all across the board. I'm a fan of it. It's been pretty fantastic. I'm about halfway down the bottle so far, so it is tasty.
That is, super great.
20 years to grow that plant. I mean, it's crazy, so.
Yeah. So for our listeners at home, the Araqueño is an Americana, which is the family of agave that's coming. It's widely considered the genetic mother of the espadín. So, agave can be a very promiscuous plant. And when you have something like this, is the espadín, which is now the most prevalent of the agave that you see made into mezcal, whereas espadín is going to be anywhere from 9 to 12 years before they harvest it. As Jayson just mentioned, this is typically right around 20 years before it reaches that full maturation in order to harvest it, which is just so cool. So again, that's another reason that you don't see a whole lot of the Araqueños out there, just because it does take a little bit longer, similar to like a Tepestate. But even those are cool. Very, very, very cool. Chris, what are you sipping on?
Oh man, I'm still feeling that holiday spirit and feeling like diving right into some dope shit. So I decided I'd crack open a very exclusive bottle. The 1974 Lafite Rothschild is just exquisite wine. I mean, it's I actually don't know because I'm not drinking that. I'm drinking an. I am drinking the Hein Cognac homage to Thomas Hein. It is a Cognac Grand Champagne. It is fucking lovely, and interesting enough, Hein is one of the only cognacs to actually be allowed to be aged in England, and so this is one of those, and it is just fucking lovely. It's rich without being slutty. It's got the right kind of spice without I don't know, being overwhelming. No over extracted woods. It's just fucking delicious cognac.
I love how you couldn't help but to try to get like a sexy bottle into tonight's episode.
It's what we do, buddy.
So for the people at home, I mean, that Lafite is like I'm seeing, okay, that's like an $8,000 bottle
of wine. Yes, that's correct.
Oh my God. Yeah, that one, I'm kind of caught up in that now. I'm like super disappointed that that's not what you're drinking.
Hey, buddy, you know what? You and me both.
Fair enough.
Like, damn, I'm a little too far away for that.
That's right. I'm not that cool yet.
Drew, what about you?
I am drinking some of the Black Tot 50th anniversary rum. And yeah, this is a new rum to the portfolio that lasted for about 2 days before it was completely sold out. This anniversary edition that they did was to celebrate the end of the black, the daily ration, which I know we've talked about a lot in terms of the Royal Navy. And this is a really interesting blend. And what I love about it is, a complaint that we've had on the show before and we've talked about numerous times is like the lack of transparency on rum bottles. And this one does not get any more transparent. Like, I don't think that you could give any more information outside of maybe like the master blender's like social security number. Like that's the only thing that's left off on here.
Whether or not he got any loans or anything.
Yeah. So it's really cool because it has the percentage of each one that's in there. And what's really cool is they have a few, there's 2 at the very end. And so total there's 1, 2, 3, there's 9 total rums in this blend. Right. And 2 of them are from are 2 rums that cannot be produced anymore. Actually, there's 3 that can't because there's a little Corona in there as well. But you tend to see the Corona a lot around.
Yeah.
But one of them is from Guyana, and it is a 42-year-old Port Morant out of the Utevluk distillery, which is now gone. And then the other part is the original Royal Navy blend, which is the last consignment, which you can actually still get bottles of that. But that's obviously a very old rum as well. And it's funny because it's only 0.5% of each makes up the entire blend. And, for some people that really bothers them, but I just think that's super rad that it's kind of, because you've kind of done like your own infinity bottle here. It's basically what it reads as, and it's super fun. It's super complex. I've drank about, I don't know, a little over a quarter of it. And I just feel like every single time I'm drinking it, I'm getting different notes. And I think that's the sign of any good blend. I just really, really enjoy it. And again, like you see what country it's from, who the producer was, how it was distilled, whether they're still operating or not, if there was any tropical aging, if there was continental aging, and then what the blend percentage is. I mean, again, you don't get more transparent than this. And then they also sent it with a little, one of those gold ration cups too to drink out of, because that's the proper way to drink it.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love those little cups.
Yeah, they're super fun, and again, I'm a big proponent of, all my drink vessel needs to do is hold liquid, and then it works for me. I don't I don't need a whole lot more than that. But in this situation, I'm like, okay, let's put it in the in the ration cup.
And
So
it drinks that much better, right?
it does. It totally opens it up. There's something about that copper in the
Oh,
no, it's
just like the mule mug.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah, it's just totally fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that is what I'm sipping on. But I think it's time to hear our opinion on facts that we've heard from reputable sources. Okay, so initially we weren't going to do any news stories tonight because we just wanted it to be the Power of Positivity show. Again, big reason why we brought in Jayson, because he is the ultimate beacon of positivity. But then the universe gifted us the most amazing news. And as you guys know, over the past 9 months, not a whole lot of great news, but this stuff is amazing. So, per the TTB newsletter, which is the government body that is regulating all labeling and a lot of our alcohol laws within the U.S. They just released that on December 29th, so tomorrow. They will publish the final rule in the Federal Register that, among other things, amends TTB's regulations that govern wine and spirit containers by adding 7 new standards of fill for wine and distilled spirits. These new container sizes consist of, for wine, 355 milliliter, 250 milliliter, and 200 milliliter. And then for distilled spirits, 1.8 liters, 900 milliliters, 720 milliliters, and the sought after, most coveted size in me and Chris's life, the 700 milliliter. The new container sizes will provide bottlers with flexibility by allowing the use of added container sizes and facilitate the movement of goods in domestic and international commerce, while also providing consumers broader purchasing options. Chris, when I sent this to you today, what was your initial reaction?
My first reaction was like, fuck, Drew is going to make me read a bunch of TTB bullshit. And I was really frightened. And as I was sitting on the toilet, reading this, I opened it up and I saw the headline and I scrolled down and I damn near jumped off of the pot in glee and joy when I read that 700 ml is finally fucking approved. We get to drink so much more dope shit. I'm so excited.
Yeah, totally agree. Jayson, I know that you saw this earlier as well. What were some of your thoughts when you saw the news?
Man, I was actually really hoping that would mean that like I could start getting like a Nebuchadnezzar of Blanton's or something, honestly. No, honestly, I think it's really I think it's really exciting. I mean, honestly, the opportunity to get more stuff than we imagined is pretty cool. The one thing that kind of interests me is I wish, we were talking about transparency earlier and how important and how cool that is for bottles, but man, I kind of wish there wasn't that much transparency when it came to like the TTB knowing exactly what's in every product, because that keeps us also from getting cool shit that companies don't want to give us because they don't want to disclose their actual recipes. So I thought that was, I wish we could ban that one and then bring these bottles in.
Yeah, so that is one thing that anytime that you submit to the TTB, you do have to submit your formula for approval. So that's basically what Jayson is referencing there. And yeah, they're certainly not off the hook. There's still a lot of work and trust that the TTB at least needs to earn from myself, which I'll say in that regard. But I do think in terms of like the little victories and stuff, like, yes, we are going to be able to get so many different bottlings now that work for us. But I think this also is a huge deal for American craft distillers, because one of the problems that they've had in terms of going international is they were required to have different types of bottles and stuff like that. So for the US, of course, we've been locked into 750s, our entire lives. And then in Europe, it was much more fluid, and 700 tends to be the size that's standard over there, or as they would refer to it, it's 70 CL, which will be 700 milliliters here. So now this is going to give craft distillers an opportunity to break into that market a lot easier, because now you can sell that over there and you can sell it here, and I think that's such a huge difference maker, for both, for producers all around the world, that now we're going to get some of those exclusive bottles, because for a lot of people, it didn't make sense for them to do the 70 CLs. And then, okay, I guess we also have to make some stuff for the Americans as well, because they're the only fucks that do this. So we would lose out on a lot of stuff. And then again, from the craft distiller part, like they're going to be able to, just do one bottle, which is just going to save them money. And as a craft distillery, if you can save money by only having to purchase one type of bottle and then set your fill lines to a certain amount, like that's pretty great. And that's what we're going for. So
Right.
I am very excited. And again, we weren't going to do any news, but this is definitely such great news.
I think I know the answer already, Drew, but is there a let's say a region that you are most excited about experiencing more stuff from?
Man, I kind of feel like I'm all over the place with that. What I'm hoping is that, obviously I'm a huge fan of rum, and there's so much rum that we don't get here because of these rules that are in place. And for a lot of places, like let's say Reunion Island off the coast of Africa, like there's a real chance now that we can start to see more rums from Reunion. And Chris, we've tried the one that that Valier did, and it was wild. Like that was that was an insane spirit.
Yeah, it was mind blowing.
And so I think from places like that, and it's also going to open up for a lot of those brands as well. Whereas, like, of course, I absolutely appreciate what Valier does. I mean, they've expanded the minds of so many different people and rum drinkers around the world, because Luca Gargano has gone into these places and found these treasures and brought them out. But for a lot of these producers there, they haven't been able to get their stuff out any other way except through these independent bottlings. I think, there is going to be really exciting. One of the rums that I was teasing to put on my list tonight is Mawaba rum, and that's out of South Africa. And I think it's going to make it a lot easier on them too. They're huge in the UK right now, in France, but they haven't made the leap over across the pond. So I think those two places, so basically like African rums, I'm very, very excited about right now. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this long and hard. I'm really excited also about Africa and African spirits, which is funny because it's not a thing that you and I have talked a lot about, but it's a fucking continent, and obviously there's dope booze that comes from there, and it would be rad to get even more of it here. On top of that, I'm looking like Eastern Europe. I'm really excited about seeing some of the shit coming out of like Eurasia, and what we can find from these small producers in war-torn countries that, might finally, given the surge of money from American dollars, start making maybe a lot more, and might be able to like build up, and we might get some really rad shit that we just haven't had a chance to get over here.
I mean, Chris, if you want some weird Eastern European stuff, I don't know why we're not taking a deeper dive on my portfolio, but whatever. Because I got it. Jayson, what about you? Is there any particular place that you're very excited about?
Man, I think you guys are kind of hitting the nail on the head with it, honestly. I know there's some really like cool gin companies out of Australia that like haven't shipped over this way as well that I wouldn't mind kind of getting my hands on. What I'm interested to see is like, so do you guys think that once this kind of starts making its way, that we're going to see people from like other countries stop sending us 750s and only sending us 70 CLs? And What do you think about that? You think that's going to like go immediately, or they're stop producing the 750s? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a slow burn. I think most American consumers are idiots, and I think they're going to look at it like, well, why aren't we getting as much anymore? Like, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to push back against this because their thought process is going to be like, why would I want less? They don't understand that actually what they're getting is a lot more options, because they're going to use their stuff. I mean, I think depending on the companies and stuff, they'll probably still do predominantly 750. I think that's a market segment that they don't want to lose, and they have so many systems in place to support that. That'll probably continue. I just look at this as an opportunity for the companies that are like, the ones the places that we've mentioned so far. Like, this is a real opportunity for them to come into the marketplace. Like, I don't think that somebody like a Glenlivet's going to stop making 750s. You know what I mean? But maybe this opens a door from Mawaba Rum or whatever the case may be. So I think that's where I see a lot of that change happening. I don't know, Chris, do you have any different thoughts on that?
Yeah. I'm with you, Jay. I'm really curious. I don't have any like, hard thought out like conjecture on what will happen, but I'm really curious about bar culture. I mean you and I have done over a decade worth of consulting, and so we know what bars look like out there. So I'm really curious how bar managers and bar culture shifts or learns to deal with the different sizes as opposed to 750 and liter. Right. I'm really curious to see how that math changes, see what ends up in people's wells, if it's a mistake, if it's on purpose. I really hope that people take it as a learning experience and we get to like up the entire industry. But I'm also an optimist in that way, and I think that I might be shooting for the stars on this one.
I think it's exciting. I'm really pumped. I'm really excited to just because, I think all three of us can probably say the same thing, that we're pretty nerdy when it comes to trying new stuff. And we really, really get excited about like the craziest, weirdest stuff we can possibly get our hands on. So it's going to be exciting to see what comes through the market.
Yeah, man, it's like watching porn, It's like eventually you just get tired of watching fucking Missionary. You need to see someone getting knocked out by the dumpster. And I don't know what else you got.
A lot of different scenarios need to play out, like I need some backstory for these stories now. Like
I need like emotional manipulation, and someone who just like can't resist no matter what they do, they lose. So they might as well. I don't know.
I think you might have to take a twisted tea to the face or something.
Oh, jeez. And that would have been a much better, like, more exciting than a twisted tea to the face. Damn it.
Just for the record, I'm also drinking one of these like sparkling Izzy's. Man, these things are fucking incredible.
Dude,
I've never drank these before.
The black cherry is my favorite.
Oh man, I'm on that apple, and it's just like I could crush like the entire case of these things and probably like wind up with like the worst shits in my life. But I think it might be worth it.
Yeah, you might go into diabetic coma, but I mean, fuck it.
Hey, it says no added sugar, so
that's good for you.
I think added is the important word there.
I mean, the label is pretty transparent if you look at it.
Oh my God.
You know who's dope? Them over there.
Are we doing our dope follows already? Or did you
hit the wrong button? I hit the wrong button. What button am I looking for? Oh my God.
You're looking for our transition button.
Hey, look. I found it.
Yo.
Talk about awkward transitions.
God, the best part about that was like how you promised both of us that you were going to be on top of it for this episode.
You knew what this was.
One of these days you're going to organize that soundboard and we'll never have these issues again. But until then, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Okay, so
Ashley Sawyer is the champ.
Ashley Sawyer is the champ. Jayson, she supports our podcast.
Sweet.
Every
sweet.
week.
She's our benefactor.
She is our benefactor. It's great. And you can be a benefactor too. Just go to anchor.fm/goodbottlepodcast. So our next segment is going to be just top 3 moments from this year. As I've already alluded to, we just want this to be the power of positivity. And there were plenty of good things that came out of this year. It wasn't all doom and gloom. And so we wanted to talk about that tonight. So I have a few different categories that we're all going to go through. And so my thought process is to throw it to one of you guys. What I want you to do is I want you to read off your either 2, 3, maybe 4 top things of that show. Give a little bit of description on them. And then if there's things that we need to discuss further, we'll discuss further after that. So I want you to run through your entire list first, and then we'll circle back on if either one of the other 2 people have anything to add on. So you guys get it?
Wait, all right, okay, but of each topic. So you're gonna say, hey,
right.
this
So
topic.
we're gonna start with media outlets. Okay.
Okay.
So media outlets could be anything. It could be books, podcasts, shows, whatever. It doesn't have to be related to our industry. I have a feeling it's probably going to be related to our industry. So, Chris, what were your top 3 media outlets? And now another caveat here is it didn't have to come out this year. You just had to discover it this year.
Yeah.
So because a lot of us had a lot more free time than usual, so a lot of new things were discovered this year. Okay, so what were your 3 media outlets this year?
In no particular order, I'm going to say I listened to a lot of Crooked Media podcasts this year. They are a progressive media organization, and their goal is to counteract the ratcheting to the right for a lot of media, and just provide a factual and alternative, we'll say, bend to media. And they've got all sorts of. It's not just a single podcast. They have a whole range. That's the word I'm looking for. A range of podcasts and shows and things that they support. It's pretty fantastic. Kept me educated, kept me entertained, gave me a lot to think about, even if I didn't agree with all of it. I was a huge fan. Number 2 would be the republishing of the Bon Vivant's Companion, the newest edition. Bon Vivant's Companion is the famed Jerry Thomas book, traditionally published in a red cover and a blue cover, one being the first edition, second one being the second edition. Actually, I think I have that mixed up. I think blue is the first edition, red is the second edition. Anyway, this is now a green hardcover book put out by Cocktail Kingdom, which is where they started, was with books. And it's got a beautiful prologue. It's got a great introduction. The book is maybe doubled, tripled in size. They took both editions, put them together in a single publication. They've got a ton of footnotes. It's really, really lovely. It's as a true cocktail nerd, it's one of my favorite things that I've read all year, at least in terms of the bar world. And then thirdly, I'm going to have to say HBO Max. I've been glued to my TV all fucking year, because what the fuck else are you going to do, right? So that's they put out a lot of really, really fantastic media this year, and I applaud them for it. Thank you, HBO Max.
I have to agree with that. I just recently got on that train, and I cannot believe, I'm 4 days in, so I get it. There's a lot to consume there.
Yeah, a ton of fucking content, man.
So much content. We're gonna make sure to definitely give HBO Max a shout out on our Instagram. Hopefully they can get some more subscribers because of us. I'm sure they can use the boost. Speaking of that,
get the podcast bump.
Yeah, get that. They need it badly. Jayson, what are your top 3?
Man, I was gonna put some HBO Max on that too as well, but I'm more of that person that I'm more of that person that spends about 45 minutes trying to find something so I can immediately fall asleep to it. That's kind of My mode. Can't find nothing on. I'm gonna fall asleep. Of course. For me, I would say, as far as a podcast, there's a podcast called "This Podcast Will Kill You." I actually like started listening to this because of my wife, Kayla. She started
My
listening.
wife.
She's out there somewhere. I'm surprised she's not yelling at me yet. No, I'm just kidding.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is. She started listening to it, and basically what they do is they go over a bunch of just pandemics, diseases, all types of crazy stuff, and they start talking about like where it originated, how it got cured, what's going on with it. And they actually ended up starting it with or I started listening to it with the pandemic stuff, with the COVID, and it was actually really like soothing because they talked about like facts about it, so it was like it became less scary after like listening to it, you know. So it was like right in the beginning when we started getting into it.
Yeah,
that one was really, really cool. I'm a huge fan of this little, you can find them on Instagram. They're called the Hard Times. And essentially what it is like it's like the Onion of the subculture. So like punk, goth, metal. So there's just a bunch of like little like funny like articles about this and that with regarding like the music scene. And some things that go along with like politics and stuff. Like one of the funniest headlines, I'll just read a couple for you. One of them is Donald Trump demands Billie Holiday change name to Billie Christmas.
That's really good.
MIT physicists describe a theoretical fifth loco.
oh my god.
And then one of the last other ones, it's like super true, is cash only bar, coincidentally also $7 ATM fee bar, which is like so fucking true. That's the second one. And then I would say the third one is just kind of more work related. It's not really exciting at all, but it's a book called How to Be a Boss by Justin Kerr. It's a book that actually, again, Kayla bought for me to read. And I will say, like within my job and what I'm doing now, one of the things I've always noticed going in from location to location is if you even get a training for like a bartending position, if you even get that, like it's even worse for like management positions and like uppers. Like nobody trains that stuff. They just throw you into the fire and like you just get fucked. So reading this book is really cool because it gave me some insight, a little help on like, hey, if I'm going to put training programs together for like this company that I work for, I want to do management too. And I want to show people how to like be good leaders and how to like really bring people up and vet people instead of just being like, here it is, here you go.
God damn it. I love you, Jason.
Yeah. I think that's so great. That's totally true. I mean, you know, so much in this industry is like, you know, it's promotion through attrition, you know, and it's just kind of like, well, you're still here and you've been here the longest. You're a manager now, or you were a bar back at a really popular bar. You're a manager now. And it's just, and it's like, people get so confused. Like, I can't believe that person didn't work out. I was like, that person wasn't a leader. They had no skills. There was, you know, it was just kind of, you know, they want to treat managers as owners of the business, but pay them excessively poorly. You know, it's like, wow, you're so confused on why this didn't go well for you, you know? And no, I think that's amazing. And again, another reason that we love you so much is that you've done so many great things, and you're one of those people that probably doesn't need to read one of those books because you do have a lot of that experience, but the fact that you're still pushing yourself to do that is great. And I really hope people listen to that.
Training aspect is something that Jason and I have like bitched about ad nauseum to each other. The fact that we're just like mind blown that it doesn't exist anywhere. I mean, it's as two professional consultants, you know, it's truly mind boggling that you walk into places and you're like, okay, like what have you learned and who taught you? And they're like, well, it's like guy who's no longer here who told me that I should shake my Manhattan, and then I watched a YouTube and realized that was wrong, and that's it. And then the bar manager is exactly that, what you said, Drew, which is someone who just happened to be there long enough.
Yeah, it's wild. No, it's you're totally reaffirming that. It's absolutely crazy that this is what happens, you know. But go, Jason, go ahead. You probably have a better insight.
I don't know, just one of those things the other thing you'd see with that too is that like you'd see these like star bartenders opening these spots like behind the bar, like so-and-so is here, the place blows up. That person gets a different job, they leave, and the place just completely falls apart. Like it's just gone.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
overnight. So it's like you see that like numerous times over and over again. You start to like think about it, like, dude, why is this still happening? And you're like, it's got to be better. It's got to be better.
Right. Yeah, and it for sure is that. Like things can be better. It's just you got to put the time in and you got to put the effort in. So that's a really great that's a great recommendation, and good job,
Pushing
White.
that positivity.
There you go, pushing that positivity. So I have two podcasts and then one book. So the book, I'll start with that because it is something I've talked about before, but it's The Complete Whiskey Course by Robin Robinson. And I love this book so much. Probably a little bit has to do with the fact that I've gotten to know Robin over the past couple months as well. And you can just really read his personality throughout the entire thing, but it's just a real enthusiast approach towards the whiskey business, and he just covers everything, and there's so much good information, and I feel like I'm constantly referencing it at all times. When I'm looking at different distilleries and I'm trying to understand different concepts, I can't speak highly enough about this book. The other one, some of my podcasts that I've been listening to, is the newest one is called The Food Program, and it's put on by the BBC. And this just falls in line with, I tend to love everything that the BBC does, because like the best stuff somehow finds me, because that's just what good stuff does, right? The cream rises. And I came across this show because I was looking for some information about like Georgian wines and stuff. And this thing covers just the gambit of it. And it's very wholesome and it's really informative. And I love the host. And of course, over the past couple of weeks, it's been all holiday related and what to do with your leftovers. And I just love the show so much. And it's really refreshing and good stuff. And then my final media outlet is the David Chang Show. Probably for a lot of people know David Chang from Ugly Delicious on Netflix. He is the owner of Momofuku and that whole restaurant group, which have a bunch of stuff. And it's been really interesting to listen to his perspective from week to week through the pandemic, because this is a guy who's at the top of our industry, right? In terms of owning all these restaurants all over the world. He's considered a celebrity chef. He's got books. He has all these levels of success. And to watch him kind of be like just reduced to the same level that all of us are right now, and to see him go through that, I've taken so many different lessons from him as he's learned through the situation and pivoted the same way that all of us have had to pivot. Right. And it's been really cool to kind of get his perspective. And then, he talks about his flaws. He talks about where he made mistakes and how he doesn't want to make them again. And then he also does a new segment where they call it the Dad Show, and they bring on different chefs and guests, and they talk about just being a dad in this industry, which I don't think happens very often, or at least I don't notice it. And I think that's really cool, because obviously as a dad and of a 2-year-old, it really resonates with me to kind of hear some of the same struggles that they're going through. Like, this is how I do this and how I do that. So I'm able to relate quite a bit to it. And I know, Chris, I've talked to you multiple times about his show and like different things I pull from it. I'm like, you need to listen to this. You need to listen to this. I don't know whether you do or not, but hopefully this is the final thing that convinces you that this is a show that you should listen to. But
yeah, no, I don't really listen to you very much.
It's totally understandable. But yeah, so those are my 3 media outlets. So the Food Program, Complete Whiskey Course, and Dave Chang Show.
I'm gonna add a little footnote on here. I haven't watched it yet. I've heard good things. My mother-in-law was telling me about it, and I tend to trust her judgment, except for where I'm concerned. But she recommended a show that sounds really interesting, and it comes by way of Guy Fieri, who's sort of like the pariah of the restaurant industry, except for maybe this year during COVID. I think everybody learned to appreciate him and the good that he does. But he just came out with a new show called the Restaurant Hustle 2020, and it's on Food Network. And it's all about restaurants pivoting and trying to make it during 2020. So that I think that's a pretty cool thing. And if somebody's going to do it the right way, I think that he he has the ability, he has the resources to be able to really shine a dope light on what everybody's going through.
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, Guy Fieri is amazing for all the things that he's done even before, and he's finally getting some credit for it. But I think that's a perfect segue into our next top 3 list. And speaking of innovation and pivoting and stuff like that, we've seen so much of it over the past year. So I was curious on what your guys' top 3 bar innovations were. So Jayson, you said that you had one, but it's a big one. So what was the bar innovation that you saw that you're like, this is amazing?
Well, I mean, it kind of like touches on all of that, honestly. I mean, I think it's just the innovation for me is actually being able to see people pivot and actually like persevere as much as possible through this whole thing. I mean, I've seen people just get super creative where it's like, like Trevor Easter and the DeVere's family doing like Snug Jr. and doing their doobie bar pop up and completely changing things up and keeping it the same within their like how they're doing stuff, typically with the fun and the excitement and like just the wacky shit, but then like just changing the concept for this time period. And then like Quick Dog, kind of the same thing in San Francisco with Josh Harris and the Bon Vivant guys doing that. It's just been like really, really kind of cool to see somebody like completely flip, change script, and just kind of work towards something super cool. I'm loving this whole takeout thing. I hope we can continue with it as we go, just being able to like offer like some cocktails on the way out, if you're like you're eating dinner at a spot and you can take cocktails home to enjoy, next to the fire outside in the backyard or whatever. I think it's really cool. And I'm hoping that like, that gives a chance to bring like crowlers and do like canned cocktails and like awesome flasks and stuff like that. I think it's just a really, really cool way to kind of push yourself a little further. The outdoor dining has been great, but it comes with a bunch of flaws as well too. I mean, it's kind of a cool concept, especially in San Francisco, because we don't really see that very often. So seeing people build all these like parklets, like we've done them too, has been like kind of like scary but exciting at the same time, like getting out and like making cocktails again and like serving tables. But I mean, it's risky, there's a lot of like negativity towards it as well too, people not following rules. But overall, just like seeing everybody like kind of band together a little bit more and try to push the community and help each other. And I see a lot of shout outs from one spot to another, or chefs coming in and doing like takeovers for outdoor dining. It's just been really like a cool thing to see with the community, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that to your point about like the outside stuff, like really doing these extravagant outdoor seating arrangements where you're just kind of like, oh, you just kind of built like a mini indoor outdoor.
Right.
It looks like, which is a little strange, but again, these are strange times. And absolutely, I mean, I think you really kind of encompassed everything, it's all this different stuff and all these different things that people have had to do, has been amazing. Chris, what about you? What are some of do you have any specific samples?
Oh yeah. Jay actually stole 2 of mine, so fucking thanks, Jayson. Jesus, fucking Quick Dog was definitely one of them, and less doobie bar for me and more Snug Jr.
Sure,
which is still DeVere's family, still Trevor. Snug Jr. is just a brilliant pivot, something that just happened out of necessity, and as like a quirky idea where, for those of you who don't know, a local Irish pub decided to start making fast food just better than any of the fast food places. So they literally stole all the ideas from all your favorite fast food places and just make them more dope. And they're not hiding it. They're very proud of the fact that they're like stealing from Carl's Jr. and from fucking McDonald's and from In-N-Out and fucking everywhere. And I will say, the food is fucking delicious.
It's a great burger.
It's an amazing fucking burger. They're right down the street from us at Good Bottle, and it is lightweight dangerous.
I gotta say, like the burger's great, but the thing that I think they nailed is actually like making their fries taste good to go, because that's like a fucking hard task.
It
Like
is a hard task.
fries is like the worst, but you get their fries and they're plentiful too. Like they don't fuck around; they give you a good amount of fries.
That's very, very true. And then my third is actually the design concepts that I've seen come out of Europe, like out of London and Barcelona. Like the way that they've invested in their outdoor areas here in the US, especially in California, everything's so fucking expensive. So we just we make it work the best that we can, which pretty much means like building a wooden structure and like some sort of roof out there. But in Europe, we've seen like bubbles. We've seen people import and like build greenhouses. We've seen people take over houseboats and like put, all sorts of shit, just really, really pushing this concept of not inside a restaurant, inside four walls and a roof, to the limits. It's just been stunning to watch. And as someone who loves interior design, who loves architecture and design in general, that's probably been the most fun for me, is really watching people just go without limits on their brain and just like push the envelope as far as they can and see how well it gets received.
Yeah. No, I think that it's totally true. We just throw up tents here, and we're like done. But no, it's good. It's funny, like, and it's probably because it's so close to home for all of us. But I definitely had the De Vere's Snug Junior Doobie Bar on my list as well. I will add an additional thing to that. They recently bottled their own rum with the
fucking insanely good.
Yeah, that banana rum.
The banana
rum is stupid good.
Yeah, and I bought 3 bottles of it, so I'm a believer in that rum. It's so delicious. I really, really, really enjoy it. So I was very, very, very happy just to kind of see them continue to do that. And I they're not done. Like they're going to have to continue to pivot and all that stuff. The other thing that I saw that I really enjoyed, and you've seen this out of a few different places, but the ones that came to mind for me was like Pioneer Cocktail Club and up in Tahoe City, doing the like general store. Especially early on, it was really hard for people to get the things that they needed, and they were able to provide that for their community. And Brian, who's owner there, was on our podcast, and he talked about a lot of those things that he was doing before, and continues to try to innovate and do things. And he's in a tough spot right now because now it's super fucking cold, and not necessarily everybody's following COVID guidelines. So I'm really, obviously concerned about what they're going to do up there, but I think if there's anyone who's going to figure it out, it's going to be him. But I really like the general store aspect to it. I know a lot of restaurants have started to sell a lot of their booze, which honestly, I think it took a lot of them way too long to jump onto that train.
Oh yeah.
Like I think a lot of people looked at it. They're like, no, that's just one more thing that we have to do. Like, we know cocktails, let's do to-go cocktails. And I think everybody just waited way too long. They should have been selling bottles from day one, but they finally embraced that, and it's good to see. And I like the people who are selling like fresh made pasta and stuff like that. Like I know there's a few places in Sacramento that are doing that, which I think is really great. And then my last innovation was, there's obviously been so much virtual stuff that's been going on over the past 9 months. I mean, I was a big part of it as well. And one of the things that I got a little shout out from them on this, but when Elixir Spirits did the 24-hour Black Tot celebration, where they had a 24-hour stream of constant rum talks and innovation and interviews with people from all over the world, like that was just amazing, to pull that off and to make it work and to balance all these different schedules. And and obviously stuff was pre-recorded and things like that, but but still, to do a 24-hour event on that magnitude with the guests that they had and the influential people that ended up kind of crossing the airwaves through their Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. I just thought it was incredible. I thought that was so cool that they were able to do that. So those are kind of my 3 bar innovations that I thought was super fun and interesting and different.
Going back and touching on your feeling that bars and restaurants should have been selling their booze earlier. I 100% agree with you, but I've talked to a few people who it's just one of those things where you don't think about from outside the bubble, but when you're in it, so few people even know how to do cocktails to go in a cool and imaginative way. And that's something that most bartenders and bar managers are used to, is making cocktails, pricing them out in theory. Right. But then selling their bottles, let's say at not club markups where you're just doing like bottle service, you're selling a $450 bottle of Grey Goose. A lot of people just don't know how to do it.
Right.
And that's something that I learned, is like they can't flip that switch in their brain where we're going from on-premise cost of goods to off-premise cost of goods, and how that retail part works. And I've definitely witnessed it. I've talked to a few people, but it's always funny, that ego still exists even in this time where people are like, no, it's fine. I'll figure it out. And you're like, I can explain to you how to do this like right now. And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, I won't charge you. Yeah. It's really easy. You just do this math. And they're like, no, I'm fine. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, well, you explained it. And can you send that back to me again? Like, yeah, sure. I want you to survive. I want you to do well. Here's the math. It's really not hard.
Straight up, one of the most important things to being like a boss or manager in any spectrum is to know when to ask for fucking help. Like, search for that shit. Like we all do things together. We all share each other tidbits, like you do with like you're talking about right now. And it's like so important to like keep pushing that. Like, dude, we all need a little help. Like, I love helping people. I love passing some good information or sharing good books and stuff like that to push them,
Dude, my business, none of my businesses would have survived thus far, especially this year, had it not been for, one or two pieces of sage advice, if not just like a lifelong desire for learning and seeking people out who I can steal shit from, and people who are like glad to like give it, right?
Yeah.
As long as you always give, you pay your respect where it's due. But like this year, like going into retail, much less going into retail during fucking COVID, it's been nuts. There's no way I would have survived had I not gotten like some great advice and people I could actually learn from this year.
No, I think that's totally true. And to kind of come back to one of the things I learned from the Dave Chang show, it was like, you have to be willing to blow things up when it's not going to work, and I think a lot of people didn't want to blow up their own ideas. They wanted to stick with it. They wanted to keep going. It was like, no, blow it up and start over, start selling bottles, get out of your comfort zone and do something different, because like this program as you see it is not working. And I was having a conversation today with a fine dining restaurant that they're done with the concept. It's not coming back for them. Even if it comes back to fully, if best case scenario, we're completely open by August, they're like, we're done with that concept. We're completely moving on. We're doing a different thing that's going to make us a lot more flexible. And so we're never vulnerable like this again, because
are they local?
Yes.
Here in Sacramento? Ooh,
yeah.
Once we're off air, I'm going to ask you.
We'll talk about it after. Okay, let's keep this gravy train going. So we have 2 topics left. We're pushing the hour mark, but I know you guys are so entertained that you're totally okay.
Hey man, it's our last episode of the year. You're not going to hear from us for at least a couple weeks while Drew and I figure some shit out that makes this better. Like Chris learning how to fucking do the soundboard properly. So hang in there a little bit more. Plus you got Jayson Wilde. So, what's not to love about this? So fucking deal with it.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do our top 3 boozes. Now,
that's Boozai. Thank you.
Boozai. Yeah. So I'll say for myself, this was a very hard list to do. And especially to keep it to 3, especially to not look like a complete homer for my own stuff. And then, I have things written in and then scratched out. And then Like they're definitely not. They're not in any particular order. Chris, it took you a while to figure out your third one. Jason, I don't know what your process was. I mean, we've already discussed one of them, but this was hard. So this is, and there's going to be something I forget about that I'll remember tomorrow. I'll be like, God, I should have said that one, because there has been a lot of cool stuff that's come out over the past year, and we also have very, very different experiences where Chris and I continued to try all the craziest things in the world, and Jason was trying to burn back bars. So we had much different situations in terms of what we were exposed to. But Jason, outside of the Rey Campero, Arroqueño, what were your two other top spirits this year?
For the weird category, I would say my favorite thing from the weird category this year was the Nixta, that maize liqueur.
Yeah. Yes.
Super fucking weird. You taste it next to the Abasolo whiskey, and you can kind of get the hint, you get that backbone of that whiskey in there, but it just has like this like, I haven't had a bottle like this that I've been like, oh, I want to fuck with this like immediately. And that was one of those ones I was like, oh shit, this is weird. Like I want to sip out of the bottle and just sit on the couch with it. Like it's just so interesting. It's almost like a sweet corn nut liqueur in a weird way. I'd say I'd definitely go for barbecue if we're going for flavors. And then my second, for like something that is an obvious pick for me, I'm a big Scotch lover. And this year was the Tobermory 12-year port pipe.
I love you. I fucking love you so hard. Oh, I love you so much.
Incredible. It is. I mean, it was like sweet and fruit and juicy up front with all that port in there. And then at the same time, I like had this weird like leather into almost curry flavor. It had like this weird like savory note on the finish, and then all of that, Isle of Mull salinity to it as well too. It's just like, it was everything that I wanted in a Scotch. It was absolutely fantastic.
Also, can we talk about how exciting it is to get Toby 12 back into the States again?
So fucking awesome. I mean, it's been gone for like what, almost like a year and a half or so, or 2 years almost. I haven't had a tough time finding it. It's been like
4 or 5.
Damn, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people just had some backstock because it was really approachable for so long. And people who knew what Tobermory was, they had it, and they knew, like, maybe some people were in the know that they knew what was going on. Also, bars tend to hold on to shit like that longer, right? Rather than like retail. But yeah, I mean, as soon as Toby came back, the Toby 12 came back, I bought a case. I was like, yep, that's coming in immediately. Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. And have you guys noticed too, like how everybody's really upping their game on like packaging these days? Like I feel like
you have to.
Rebranding.
Yeah, you have to. I think there's there's so many options out there, and that's where that first impression is made, right? So more often not. I mean, even now at this point in my life, where like I have a pretty decent amount of education when it comes to spirits and wines and stuff like that, and I lean on my peers who have more knowledge and stuff like that. I'm constantly trying to learn. Like just a week and a half ago, I was looking at a bottle and I was like, that's a cool label, I'm gonna buy it. Like that is, I got reduced to 21-year-old Drew because I was like, that's a cool looking bottle. And it's, what's funny is that it ended up and I think Chris, we talked about it, like it was that wine from Washington, but the way they had the label set up is like it looked like it was part of like it looked like it was a French wine because how they had it labeled and where everything was. I was like, oh, that's a French wine. I've been learning about that. And it was just, it had a cool color sequence on it. It's like, and it was a pretty label. So I totally get it. Like, it's just because it doesn't matter if you're, brand new or somewhat seasoned. It's like, sometimes a cool label is going to get you,
Hey man, it's part of the whole spiel, right? It's that guy you might have a great personality, but you won't know it because he's he's just not that attractive, and you just don't you don't give a fuck. And so he can stand over there in the corner for all you care, and that's it. But there's other there's other cool guys that are real pretty, like that Ugh, it's killing me. Damn it! There goes my joke. Ugh,
Wanna-
falling flat. Falling flat.
I bet it was so good because the buildup was great. So I can
It
only
really-
imagine that the punchline was
really
amazing.
wasn't. It had to do with a rum and being at Total Wine, and I'm sorry, I let everybody down. It's fucking 2020. What are you gonna do?
For some reason
no,
now-
no, this is positivity episode. You knocked that off.
Mm. It's 2020. What are you gonna do?
I don't know why, but for some reason I just want to watch She's All That now. I don't know where we're going.
Truly inspiring greatness right now. Okay, Chris, what are your 3 boozes?
Holy moly! I've actually got 4, and I feel like it's. I feel like I'm still fucking this up. I feel like I'm like someone's asking me to choose between my mom and my dad, which still my dad, but it's fine. So in no particular order, I will say this. This year I have consumed a veritable fuckload of booze, so much so that my doctor told me to calm the fuck down. I get brought to our store an insane amount of alcohol on a weekly basis, and so much of it is just fucking spectacular, and even more of it is just great. And so this was really, really hard for me. In no particular order, Highland Park 21 year. I mean, no real special finish on it. I mean, it's just 21 years, Highland Park. Exquisite. I mean, it is just exquisite. It's what if you've never had scotch and you watch movies where people drink scotch and you're like, this is what scotch should be. That's what fucking scotch should be. Like that's like that caricature of scotch. You're like, this is what I've been assuming I've been drinking all these years. It's just pristine. It's fucking lovely. Highland Park is an amazing distillery, and they just do an amazing job. In 21 years, that far north, it just ages so well. And that damn scotch is I'm like drooling talking about it. One on the fun spectrum, Yvonne, who works with us at Good Bottle, was on a search from the beginning of the year. He's like, dog, we got to get this aguardiente. He didn't even remember what it was at first, and then we found it. This Cristal aguardiente is just dope booze. It's cheap. It's fucking rad. It's like it's from Colombia. It comes in a really shitty bottle with shitty packaging that makes you kind of love it even more. Sort of like that, like Rum Fire label, like where you just, it's so bad, but you're like, I see you. I love you. We're good.
You found the bottle. You found the bottle.
The rum fire is definitely like the Guy Fieri of the rum world.
It is. You're like, you joke, and then you're like, oh, all right.
I love you.
It's fine. We're good. But the Cristal aguardiente, it's like an anise sugarcane distillate. It's fucking rad. It's weird. Even after we ordered it, we got sent the wrong bottle, and he was so heartbroken. He was like, well, what are we gonna do? I was like, I don't know, man. Because the distributor kind of went AWOL on us and like stopped responding to emails, and then all of a sudden I was like walking down the street going to get coffee, and I see a dude pushing a fucking like a dolly with the Cristal cases on it, and I was like, hey man, you looking for Good Bottle? Because you look lost. He was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, it's right down the street. And I just texted Yvonne. I was like, you're about to be really excited. He just like, as soon as it walked through the door, he was like, yeah, he fucking lost it. So that's definitely there. On the highbrow end of booze, Forget Chemin 2014 Grand Cru Champagne, hands down some of the best champagne I've ever had in my fucking life. It is good champagne is inexplicable. But the only thing I know how to compare it to is if you've been lucky enough to sleep in, or unlucky enough to sleep in, like 1,000 thread count sheets. There's no going back to flannel, right? Like it's just, you're like, oh, I've crossed over. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Flannels, I'm burning this. I'd rather just sleep on the mattress itself and stop pretending and save up. And good champagne is exactly that way. Like you can't go back. It's fucking spectacular. And I feel so happy, Drew, that that's one of your moments this year is you finally got to have good champagne and you've admitted just how wrong you were all these years. So
I totally was. Yeah.
That makes me very happy. And my final bottle is the Clonde Sotol Lupe Lopez Lot 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fucking spectacular, man. And it makes me so sad it's gone.
Well, it will make you happy to know that Lupe has joined the new I'm trying to think of what the right, I guess, collective for the Sotol brand that Ricardo's doing. So Lupe is still part of it. So we'll get more of Lupe's juice because, yes, that man is incredibly talented when it comes to working with Sotol and agave in the great state of Chihuahua.
It was so interesting, so strange, and like it's one of those things where you sip and it's weird enough that you need to keep drinking just to understand it.
Yeah.
Which is almost always my favorite thing on the planet, where you're like, you just need more. Like, okay, just a little bit more. All right. Like, that's so weird. All right, just like a little bit more. Okay. Pour me a little bit more. I haven't figured it out yet. And then next thing you know, the fucking bottle's gone and you can't get lot 1 anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a similar story to that with like a rep in San Diego. He came in, he was trying to force me on bringing Louis into the bar. So he brought the bottle in and he's like, he puts it on the table and I grab some glassware and he just goes, yeah, just go ahead and pour it yourself. And then I pour like an ounce and a half of it. He's like, whoa. I was like, well, you told me to pour for myself.
That's so amazing.
And COVID happened and then I moved to San Francisco. So.
Well, I would say both groups that you work for probably they're fine with saying, yeah, it was for this group.
Right. Right.
That's awesome. Chris, just so you know, I traded a bottle of whiskey for that Lupe Lopez bottle the other day. Actually, I traded one bottle of God, what is it? What was it? It was one of the orphan barrels, and I got 2 bottles of Clonde for it, and one of them was the Lupe Lopez. So I do have an unopened bottle of that. It was probably my most favorite trade of all time because I saw them and I was like, I have this bottle, I'll trade it for these, and they're like, yep. And I was like, sweet, worked out great.
Is it the person that I sold my last lot 1s to?
I have no idea. No, you sold them to Todd.
I did not.
Right?
No.
Oh, then I don't know. No, I got him. I traded with Jason Locker.
Okay. I sold him to Colin.
Oh, yes.
Because he ended up with like a case of them somehow by like people gifting them to him and like for his birthday.
It's ridiculous.
He bought a bottle on his own.
I do think I know where some more are, so I might be able to check him down. But yeah, that is. I actually might have to change one of my answers now. God damn it!
So sorry.
Yeah, no, you already said it, so I'm not going to say it. Okay, so my 3 again, and I had the list at one point. I had it at 5, and I got it down to 3. But the first one is the M&H Distillery Pomegranate Cask. So M&H is the distillery out of Israel, formerly known as Milk and Honey, sometimes still known as Milk and Honey. But pomegranate wine is very big in Israel. And these guys are a completely kosher distillery, so they have to work with kosher related items. And when it comes to wine, a lot of wine doesn't work for them that as we know it, or sherry or anything like that. They do have a sherry cask, but they had to go and like observe the process and make sure that it was all done in a kosher fashion. But they did a pomegranate cask, and we got one bottle of it sent to the US to try to see how it was. And then my bosses were like, hey, you're doing this M&H event. Why don't you, we have this one bottle. Why don't you gift it to some people if they want to be part of the tasting? So of course I kept one for myself and pieced out the rest of the bottle to a bunch of different people. And it's probably the one, each of us only got 1 ounce of it. Right.
Damn.
And it's one whiskey that I get asked about more than anything else I've ever worked with in my entire career.
Oh, wow.
And it's gotten to the point now where I'm actually concerned that it might not live up to the hype when we actually do get it in the States, right?
That's funny.
Because it's transcended those initial like 25 people who got to try it, because people talk about it so much within our whiskey group that it's like, well, when the fuck does this thing become a reality? Because these guys talk about it all the time. And so I'm sure it's going to be great because a lot of the things that they've done so far have been really good. But the pomegranate cast, just because it's so unique and it's different. I mean, and who's had a pomegranate wine cast whiskey before? Like I've never come across that. So so I really enjoyed that one. And again, I only got to have 1 ounce of it, but it's that was back in the spring, and I still think about it pretty often. My next thing is the Origin Reyes Mezcal from Durango, and
spell that.
Origen.
Oh, Origin.
Origin. I think it's either Reyes or Reyes. I'm not 100% sure. And it's out of Durango, and this is their Pachuga. And I went to quote unquote, went to a virtual tasting that Tahona Bar was doing out of San Diego. And I really, really, really like those guys a lot. And they brought in this, and we were sitting there and we were talking and we're going through this different stuff. And one of the tastings was of this Pachuga. And historically speaking, they had never done a Pachuga before. But then one of the owners of the company, Bildo, he had his became a father in 2018 and had his daughter, and so they made it for him out of celebration, right, for the first one. And they used deer, because there's like a ton of deer all around Durango. And then they also did this really beautiful incorporation of like different fruits and different types of citrus in there as well. And it just turned into this really, really beautiful Pachuga. And the thing that I've come to learn, especially when you start to use a lot of citrus when it comes to Pachugas, which is going to be basically an infusion of that mezcal, is they can overwhelm your distillate to the point where it can almost make it like cleaning product, right. And because you're talking about a high alcohol and citrus, you're just kind of like, oh, that's Mr. Clean. Like I totally get that, and I was really kind of turned off by it. So when they were describing it at first, I was a little concerned, because I was like, oh man, I just had one from this other brand that I actually like a lot, but I think their Pachuga sucks. And I don't know if I've loved all these things so far. I typically like everything from Durango, and had it and absolutely fell in love with it. Of course, it ends up being a bottle that you can't get in the US. So coming back to the fact that I have a good relationship with the Tahona Bar guys and stuff like that, they were able to get a bottle up from Mexico to San Diego and then ship it to me. So now I have a bottle of this Pachuga, and it's incredible. And I was just
fucking rad.
Yeah, and I was just sipping on it the other night, and I was absolutely just, every time I sip on it, like, and I'm really slow playing this one too. So it's just a really great mezcal, and the rest of their lineup is great too. But I think they only bring up one of them to the US, which is such a bummer, because their entire lineup is great. And then my last thing is, I think, as a lot of you guys know, and if you follow me on social media, is I've been very into Georgian wine lately. And so I had to throw Georgian wine in there. And the one that I'm loving so much right now is the Chona Saperavi. And this is a super small producer out of Georgia who's using the Quivevries for all of his fermentation and aging. And he does less than 5,000 liters a year. This wine is just an ass kicker. Like it's incredibly tannic, and all the tannin comes strictly from the grape skins themselves. And it's just Saperavi is kind of like this black dye, essentially, or red dye, grape. Even the pulp is red, and you can have one glass and it looks like you've been drinking red wine for like the past 6 hours. It just immediately stains your teeth. It's unfiltered. It's, it's quote unquote natural wine. But it is just absolutely phenomenal. I have like bought cases for myself, and I got to see a few people over the holiday, not a whole lot, obviously, but the ones I introduced to, very mixed reactions, which was great. I always love that. Right. So, so yeah, that's the Chona wine, the Saperavi, which was.
So I've got a question for you. How does one spell Chona? I'm very excited about
so
this.
He spells it Chona.
Oh, well, that's boring. I thought it was going to be like some Z's and X's in
Or a
there.
couple X's.
There's still there's still a lot of discovering to go. Like, and as I look through a lot of the stuff, some of the ones I haven't pulled the trigger on are the things that I really can't pronounce, and I get a lot of shit for that within my company, because they're like, well, how are you supposed to sell this if you don't know how to say it? It's like, dude, there's like 17 Z's in this thing. I have no idea how I'm supposed to say this. Like, I'm definitely trying my best to get this point across, but I mean, I have like bottles that have 0 English on them, so it's a challenge. But yeah, this is definitely one of the easier ones to say, and this was a toss up because one of the ones that you carry, Chris, the Tezva Amber, like that is such a beautiful wine too, and I love that one, and it's so unique as well. But I think I had to go with the Chona because it's just, I mean, that's what I bought a case of for myself. It's great stuff. But moving on, we're getting into our last top 3. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. I know people we're getting into our most longest episode ever, but of course it's okay because Jason's here. He's going to give us hugs ever.
Most longest.
Yeah, the wheels are coming off for me.
Sorry, I've been drinking too, buddy.
Top 3 moments of the year so far. I guess you only have 2 days left or 3 days left, but Chris, what are your top 3 moments from this year?
Well, I'd be an asshole if I didn't say my daughter's birth.
That was a big one. That was
a big one.
Congrats.
Thanks, man. I'm going to put just under that the amount of joy that was brought to me by this. And it was completely petty, and it was a level of shit that I can get with, and it just made me the glee in the uncomfortability of all of the surrounding happenstances about this. But Rudy Giuliani giving a speech about election fraud in front of the fucking Four Seasons landscaping in between a fucking porn shop and a crematorium, like it was some sort of Bob's Burgers fucking intro, like hands down, like has brought me so much. Like even today when I'm saying this, like I feel like I'm glowing. I feel like I'm walking on air just talking about this, and it continues to bring me a ridiculous amount of joy, regardless of the fact that it's like incredibly petty. But I'm down for it.
It's such a good story.
What's that?
It's such a good story.
It's so good. Number 3 is sort of like a gestalt moment. It's less of like a singular moment and more of like a collective moment. But for those of you who know me, know that I'm a cocktail guy. I'm a spirits guy, sort of first and foremost, and mostly out of training and out of my environment and how my career has gone. I've loved wine, I've loved beer, but that's never really been the focus. It just never took form in that way where, I went down that sommelier path. So opening the shop, one of my biggest fears was having a fucking whack ass wine selection. I always knew that I wanted to have a dope wine selection. I didn't really know how to get there. I trust my palate. I have friends I trust. And luckily, I think this year I've had enough really amazing reps who've come to me with great stuff that they either can get other places or don't typically get other places. but you don't see often. And they wanted to have another place that highlighted dope shit. And I was incredibly lucky to be able to drink a lot of dope wine this year, so much so that I even questioned my palate to my partner Emily. And I'd be like, I don't, sometimes I don't know, like, is it me or is like all the wine we've been drinking good? And she's like, no, it's good. And then 2 seconds later, somebody would bring in some fucking swill, and we're like, oh yeah, this is trash. We're not drinking this. So over the last year, the handful of people that I truly respect, and people I've come to know who I didn't know before in our community, who have come out of sort of the woodworks, and they're like, oh yeah, I used to work at this shop in Brooklyn, and it, I'm going to let it go unsaid, but I used to manage that, and your wine selection is fucking rad. Like that. Something like that, it's happened multiple times, and it means a lot to me. And that's probably been one of my favorite moments of the year. Just, I knew that my booze selection would be dope, because, obviously. And but I was far more insecure about my wine, and the fact that people have gotten on board with it and have like thanked me for it is stunning and makes me uncomfortable and feel grateful all at the same time. So that's my number 3.
I think that's great. I mean, I know that I've bought a lot of that wine, and I don't think we've had a bad one. Like, we've really enjoyed the hell out of it. So yeah, kudos to you, bud. I think you did a great job.
Thanks, man.
Okay, Jayson, top 3 moments. What do you got?
Top 3 moments. All right. I would definitely say moving back north, man.
Yay!
Anything. I'm so happy to be back up north, closer to my friends, my family. It's just perfect, to be honest with you. I always kind of like, and no digs to moving back to Sac and doing what I did in Sac, but like I always kind of like question myself about moving away from San Francisco. I'm like, God, man, I really loved it there. I was really starting to kind of like get a good feel for it. It wasn't like a regret thing, but it always was on the back of my mind. So getting back up here has been like pretty fantastic. I mean, being the fact that like I'm an hour and a half away from coming up and seeing you guys at some point, when we can, checking out your shop and hanging out with you. Fuck, I mean, Drew, I don't think I've seen you for, geez, how long has it been? A couple of years now.
Too long. I don't like it.
Yeah, way too long. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw each other was maybe Jenna's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was, I think, definitely maybe 2 years now.
Quite some time.
Yeah, not fair.
So that's been pretty great. Number 2, and like definitely trying to keep the positivity on it, is like, even though it's been absolutely terrible to be in a pandemic and be stuck at home, it's been pretty awesome kind of just hanging out with my wife, just like working together in the kitchen more and kind of hanging out. Cause like before we had such opposite schedules for a long time, whereas like, she's coffee, I'm bar. So we just kind of see each other on the days off. And then in San Diego, I was working like fucking 90 hours a week, just constantly fucking cranking, not 90, but like 70 hours a week, just going for it. And so I didn't really get to see her. So like being in the city here and also getting to know the city outside of the bar has been really incredible too. Like we've been hiking a lot. I know that's like the thing that everybody does. They go on hikes and they like, Instagram the fuck out of it and like, look, I'm outside. But it's honestly been really cool, like getting to know the city outside of just a restaurant and a bar, like going through the neighborhoods and getting a better understanding of where we live. And now I can like get everywhere without like putting it on Apple Maps or Google Maps. So it's been really kind of cool. And then, man, what would I say? Number 3, I would probably say getting it to back in the career, back for future bars and working with these guys and doing a job that I know as we move into it, I'm really, really going to love. So outside of like kind of helping with the education and doing some training programs for the group, which we've never quite had here. Not only that, as I have a couple of openings we're going to be doing as soon as, this kind of like turns itself around. I've got a venue that we're doing with the first time with food, which is kind of exciting. We're going to do more of like a neighborhood, burgers and fries, kind of like awesome, just fun cocktails. Nothing like super crazy and intense with the cocktail program, but just really fun. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty excited about that. You know, I mean, like I feel like I've run the gamut of trying to make really crazy, interesting cocktails and learning more about like, about spirits and understanding about like hospitality and like running all these different angles. And it's going to be nice to do something that's going to be stripped down and just straight fucking fun. Like no major crazy, like, oh my God, I can't believe you have that. It's just going to be a good time. And then on the flip side, I'm doing the complete opposite. And I'm doing like a really, really upscale like jazz bar that has a collection of whiskeys running from the last 15 years have just been stockpiled and held for this project. So
fuck yeah.
It's going to be like all crazy barrel selections from the company that they've ever pulled. Fucking like just old bottlings of like everything Murray McDavid's from like the beginning when Jim McEwen was doing all that stuff. Like there's going to be some intense stuff on this spirits list, and it's going to be really cool to do a cocktail program that matches that and bring more of like a attention to detail with that program. So doing the project manager thing has been great because it's just like throw it at me and I'm going to do something completely different each time.
I'm so excited to have like a dope jazz bar because I can't really name too many in Northern California that I can actually go to that are like would be amazing jazz and amazing booze at the same time. And I believe if anybody could do it, it's going to be you and Future Bars.
Okay, so one thing I think that we kind of glazed over earlier because we were so excited about this episode, but for the people out there who don't know like the Future Bars lineup, because obviously you don't walk into a bar and it's called Future Bar. What are the bars that are in San Francisco that are underneath the Future Bar umbrella? So that way people can kind of be like, oh, I have been there, or I've been there.
Yeah, you got Bourbon and Branch is pretty much their big flagship. Underneath that, you've got Rick House that's in the financial district. Within that was their first tiki bar that they did, which was Pagan Idol. They have a cool bar with that as well. Ginger's, Devil's Acre, Pepper and Reed over in Berkeley. They've got 3 cask retail stores as well too. And what am I missing? Oh, I'm missing Zombie Village, their second cocktail bar. That I don't know if anybody knows Daniel Doc Parks. He's kind of the head guy over there. So I work with a really, really cool, unique group too. But so they've got a lot of fucking bars, man. We got like 3 more to open pretty soon here, which is crazy. But
and Jay, for your sort of your lineage, you want to explain to people sort of a quick like what of what you've done, because it's very impressive.
Oh yeah. So I got my start at Shady Lady with those awesome guys. Miss all of those dudes. I was bar backing there, and then I'm one of those people. I'm a creature of habit, so when I like get into something, I fucking overdo it and get really into it. So I got a job bar backing there, and absolutely knew that from the first day being behind the bar, I'd be doing that for the rest of my life. So I started working there, and within 9 months, I actually got a job offer from Future Bars at Bourbon and Branch because of Eric Castro. Most people, if you don't know him, he's the guy that does like Bartender at Large, and he has a couple bars down in San Diego, Polite Provisions and Raised by Wolves, which I worked at. We'll get into that in a second. So after Bourbon and Branch, I kind of I put my foot down and did that thing we were talking about earlier, where it's like I just was a grunt. I did as much work as I possibly could. Anytime somebody asked me to do something, I did it. Within a year, because of my hard work, within a year, I was promoted to bar manager. And then within the next 6 months, I became the general manager of Bourbon and Branch, and I ran that for about 5 years. From there, I came back to Sacramento, my hometown, and opened up Bottle and Barlow with Anthony Giannotti, and worked there for a good solid 2 years. 2 or 3, I guess about 3 years, if you put like putting it together and everything from there. That's where I got to meet Drew Garrison for the first time, which was exciting.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And I gotta say, like, just a quick segue here is like, dude, the amount of work that you've done to boost your knowledge in the spirits industry from the first time I met you is absolutely fucking impressive. So kudos to you on all that. It's really, really cool.
Thanks, you're welcome, man. Drew.
Oh wow! I mean, both of you guys are big time contributors to that. So thank you.
Oh, I know. That's why I said it.
From that point, I moved down to San Diego. Wanted to get a change of scenery and just learn from some people who have thought like, holy shit, these guys have kind of the same thing Future Bars had in San Diego, where they have like polite provisions, noble experiment, false idol. They've got polite. Did I say polite provisions?
You did.
They've just got like yeah, they've got a ton of stuff going on down there. Ironside Fish and Oyster, born and raised. Ton of shit. So I was like, shit, man, if I'm going to learn from some people, like this is where it's going to be. I'm going to cruise down there and just, sit down with Eric Castro and Chris Patino, fucking amazing people, and learn from them. And I got down there and worked my fucking ass off. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm going to be honest with you. And I learned a lot from it, but my heart's always up north. So getting this job opportunity to be back in San Francisco was really what I needed and what I wanted. So now I'm back up here, hopefully going to be able to spend some time in both Sacramento and San Francisco.
Yeah, it was kind of like a bittersweet thing when I know when I personally found out that you were coming back up, because I was like, oh my God, like he's going to be so much closer, and I can actually see like this guy who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and to become like, I consider like a really, good friend now. It's like, oh, but we can't go anywhere. We're not allowed to go anywhere and go to bars or visit people and stuff like that. It's kind of like, it's like, oh, this sucks. Like it's so close yet so far away.
Right.
So total bummer. But yeah, we probably should have done it at the beginning of the show, but it's like now people are like, oh, that's why we've been listening to this, like this guy this whole time.
Too easy. Short story long. That's what I'm up to these days, and that's where I've been.
Well, all that being said, I've got like a best experience of my last week that I'd like to share.
Okay.
Jason had his mother drive down from Roseville, which is a suburb of Sacramento, to come to my bottle shop. Jason, why did you have her come to my bottle shop?
So my mom's getting into like American whiskeys, like a lot of people are at this moment. And so she's super, super new. Doesn't really know a whole lot. And, she asked me a lot of questions about like, what should I get? What should I get? What should I do? Like, I'm at this place. What should I get? And it's like, I don't know. I can't see the selection. Like it's impossible for me to tell you what to get. Here's a couple ideas. If you see them, grab them. And then she's like, I'm like in between. I'm over at Total Wine and I see this and that. And I'm like, listen, like get back in your car, like head downtown and go see my buddy Chris over at Good Bottle in Sacramento. And I said, like, I've known Chris for fucking ever, for the last like decade. And he is as nerdy and as passionate and just ridiculous as I am. So if there's anybody I want you to like talk to about getting a bottle, this is your perfect guy. Go check him out. And she fucking got in her car and whoop, she rolled down there.
Yeah, she gave me a call and make sure that I was going to be open. And when she showed up, she was asking for some pretty typical things like Eagle Rare. She said she likes Buffalo Trace, stuff like that. And so we got to talking, and I was like, well, how experimental do you want to be? And she's like, look, my son already sent me a 12-page paper about American whiskeys. And I look at her and I say, did Jason send you his shredding packet? She's like, yeah, I don't understand half of it. She's like, I just need somebody to tell me what to drink. I was like, yeah, not a problem. I got you. I think that gave me the hardest laugh over the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that you would send your mom your training packet.
Well, it just happened to be that I did a Zoom like education class for some company in the Bay Area, and I just happened to do it on some bourbons from the surrounding area. And I just had the packet ready, and I was like, you know what? Like, if you want, she said, like, I'm gonna start calling you every Sunday, and I said, okay, cool. Well, you're into whiskey. Let's have something to talk about. Like, tell me what you're drinking. So I figure, like, hey, just look through that. Like, we'll talk about it. So
I like that you think that looking through a 12-page fucking thesis on fucking American whiskey is just something to talk about.
We do this literally all the time. What are you talking about? Like,
Didn't I just tell you how like when I get into something, I really get into something? Yeah, that's kind of the person I am.
Yeah, I'm well aware. That's fucking great, man. It fucking made my goddamn day. That was lovely.
Jesus.
Well, thank you for helping her out. She was pretty excited. She's already cracked the Angel's Envy, and I believe that's what she got and loved it. Is that what she told me? I think she told me it was Angel's Envy.
Yeah. She bought when I was still president of the USBG, during like the second cocktail week I was in Sacramento, we being myself, Shady Lady, Jose Carrasco, a few other people sat down at what was then Poorhouse in the back bar, and Scott Krinsky, when he was working for Angel's Envy, gave us a bunch of different samples to choose a whiskey barrel, like to sort of piece a whiskey barrel together with our own sort of formulas, right? Where they're like, okay, 30% of cask A, 20% of cask B type of thing. And it turned out I was still sitting on like maybe 4 cases of that, that I've at first I meant, it was always meant for the Bartenders Guild here, but considering that's defunct, I was like, well, I'm gonna use that then. But it's like 8-year-old still. It's Lincoln Henderson juice, and single barrel, so it's kind of fucking cool. It's like it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah, maybe my mom will have a better understanding after she reads that 12-page thesis.
Maybe.
Or she starts listening to the Good Bottle podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man. So that was a classic tangent for our show. Do we want to do my top 3 moments, or do you want to wrap this up? What are we thinking?
No, we need your top 3. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we will wrap up.
Okay. All right. So top 3 moments. Miami Rum Congress. I know I've talked about it on the show before. Just absolutely amazing trip. Got to expand, one of my only trips this year. Got to expand my knowledge in terms of just different rums from around the world. Got to experience some amazing bars in Miami. Totally fell in love with that city. I cannot wait to go back. And became friends with a lot of people in the UK, which has been amazing to continue to work on those relationships as we've been all locked down. My second thing was I really enjoyed doing this podcast and my happy hour. I think it was a really fun way to connect with people. Like, Jayson, this is a great example. We've texted and stuff over the past couple of years, but it's like now we're really sitting down and talking about all this kind of different stuff, and it's just happens to be recorded. But doing that, and then also like my virtual happy hour where I got to really expand my influence, and a lot more people know of who I am now than they did 9 months ago, which I think is kind of cool. And I got to do it by meeting people who I had a tremendous amount of respect for, having conversations with somebody like a Zan Kong, or the conversation with Carlos Camarena, like stuff like that just completely blew my mind. I still can't believe those people said yes. And at one point, and I don't know if I've shared this story, but I sent a message to Alexander Gabriel from Plantation, or from Mason Ferrand. And I did this while I was like slightly intoxicated. So it was a little like boozed courage. But I love what they do. I'm a huge fan of Plantation Rum. And now he did not come on to the show. However, it did get back to Michael Goldman that I had asked. So I had made enough waves where they asked Michael Goldman, who's the Plantation rep in San Francisco. He's like, hey, is this guy legit? And of course, me and Michael get along really great. And he was like, no, he totally is. Again, it didn't come to fruition, but the fact that it even got back down to him to like background check me, I was like, I'm going to take that as a win. So that was a big deal. And then really it's my other favorite thing is similar to what you guys have said as well. It's like, it's just been the time with my family, getting at the very beginning 2 uninterrupted weeks with my daughter where it was like we had no choice. Daycare was closed. We didn't know what was going on in the world. So it was like, hey, it's just me and her. And we really were able to bond over those 2 weeks even more so. And it's time that I wouldn't have gotten in normal circumstances, right? And then even as time has gone on and like, her school got shut down for a few months. And then there was a coronavirus positive test where she got shut down again. And it's like just time that it seemed like it was inconvenient, but it's like, wow, that was actually really great. And then the projects that me and my wife have done around the house and stuff like that, it's really good. So as much negative as you think there might be in 2020, there was also just so much positive, and those were my highlights from the year, which was just actually a pretty goddamn good year.
It's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Good. All right, should we talk about dope people?
In theory.
Let's do it.
You know who's dope? Them over there.
All right, and now for my favorite segment. I hope you guys are still hanging in there. An hour and 39 minutes and 37 seconds in is our dope follows of the week. These are people that we tell you to go and follow because they're so amazing. I'm going to start mine off. This is actually someone that we've shared before, but they did the most epic thing over the past week that I had to share them again because they're only getting better as they continue to grow. And that is the Instagram account Liquor Industry. They're constantly posting liquor industry related memes and stuff like that, which is hilarious. But last week they did a celebration of Festivus. And Festivus is a fictional holiday that was created on the show Seinfeld, where George's dad put together this whole thing. And one of the ceremonies of Festivus is the airing of grievances. And basically what you do is at the dinner table, you tell people all the reasons that they have wronged you that year. And what this account did was they asked everybody who follows them to send in their grievances, and then they shared them. And then not only did they share them, but in multiple situations, they tagged the people that they were complaining about. So you have this account which has thousands and thousands of followers actually tweeting at the different ones. And so some of my favorite ones was like, at Jim Beam, who thought squirrel whiskey was a good idea. And then this was at Casamigos, add sugar, water, and vanilla to the tequila. That's why your dumbass aunt thinks it's so smooth. And it was just, yeah. What feels like a cult but isn't a cult? Diageo on-premise managers and their sizzle words.
Ooh, I like it.
This is a 3-parter one.
Greg Beerworth, that one slings home for you, huh?
Well, I think he knows he's bringing the sizzle. Pappy is overrated and allocated bourbons are a pain in the ass. The suppliers who don't know their markets are the worst. And to the accounts who have Tito's listed multiple times on their menus, fuck you. Then there's this one, Dear Consolation Brands, fire your entire innovation team. Thank you. And then this is one of my favorites. Consumer, I can't drink red wine. It gives me a headache from all the sulfites. Me, eye roll. Maybe it's a $7 garbage wine you drink and nothing to do at all with the sulfites. So it was so perfect. And there was like 50 different gripes that people had, and it was just funny to see accounts on them out. But that again, we've shared them before, but it was such an epic week with them that I had to share them again. And it's at Liquor Industry, and it's the best account on Instagram. I love it so much.
Did you make those BTAC Jello shots, by the way?
I'm still working on it. I'm going to. It's going to happen. I've been talking to my buddy about it. He's willing to give me a little bit of it, and then yes, I am going to make them. So
that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. So yeah. By the way, Jason makes the best Jello shots in the entire land, and he just follows the instructions. It's actually not that complicated.
It's really easy.
But somehow they end up tasting better than everything else. But yeah, I'm going to be making Jello shots with BTAX. So
It just needs a little extra love. That's all it takes.
For the uninitiated, do you want to explain what BTAC is?
So it's the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and they do like a Sazerac, a Stag Junior, was it a Weller or a William?
Sazerac 18, Eagle Rare 17.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. And so they're whiskeys that should cost like $80 on the shelf, but they often sell for $600, $800, $900. And so I really want to make some Jello shots with them and just make people mad. So,
I love it. I love it.
yes, I am going to do that. And yes, I will document it. So to really get the full effect. Chris, who's your follow this week?
Sticking with the positivity vibe of our show, and being that I just had a daughter this year, I'm going with babies.official on Instagram. It is an Instagram account of babies doing baby shit, and it's fucking lovely. You get lots of baby giggles. You get babies making funny faces, doing silly things. It's fucking lovely. I love it, and it makes me happy every day that it comes across my thread.
And what's the account name again?
Babies.official.
Babies.official. I mean, I want you to know that the other day, it was Christmas Eve. We were having just like a classic family holiday stress moment. And we were trying to get everything kind of together and going. And at one point I was on Instagram, and the Italian grandmas making pasta account posted something.
Oh yeah.
And I sat there for a while just watching it, because I was like, I really need this right now.
I literally turned to Jen and I said, I love that Drew gave me a hard time for talking about pasta grannies and saying that it sounded like a porn thing. And now every time I scroll through my feed and I see pasta grannies, I see that you like them.
It's as you described it in our previous episode, it is strangely therapeutic. And
it's fucking incredible. It has changed my life.
Yeah. Jason, are you familiar with what we're talking about?
I am not.
Wait, we're gonna have to tag you in one of their posts, but it's
done.
There you go. It's basically just grandmas in Italy making pasta using these very old world techniques, and it's amazing. It's the best. Like we're not doing it justice, even describing it the way that we are. But when you see it, you'll get it. But I definitely need it. And I thought about you the other day, Chris, with it. I was like, thank God for this account, because I'm about to like punt babies across my street, and I need this to calm down. So yeah, this is my moment of zen now, is watching Italian grandmas make pasta.
That's great.
Jason, do you have anybody that you think that we should follow?
Oh man, I mean, like I was saying before, Hard Times is amazing. I love that. I would probably say, if I wasn't going to look at that, I can't find the guy's name, but there's this dude that I follow that does all these like crochet outfits, and it's the weirdest thing. And I don't even know how I got to start following this person, but it's fucking wild what this guy makes out of crochet. He does beach umbrellas. It's really bizarre. I will find it and I will tag both of you in it, and I don't know, somehow try to get that message passed. But it's pretty incredible what he does.
I love it.
Awesome. And then just for people at home, if they want to follow you and the stuff that you have going on, is there any social media that you would like to share, or if someone's like, I want to know how to be a manager, is there any way to reach out to you that you're comfortable with?
Definitely. You can find me on Facebook with my name. It's just Jayson. Last name Wilde, Wilde. You can go ahead and add me and hit me up about any questions that you have, or you can find me on Instagram at Rocky Stone. Spelt how it sounds, ROCKYSTONE. I'll talk about that, but that's a long fucking story. Why that's my handle. Long story for another time.
We'll do that on Jayson Wilde Part 2. The Good Bottle Podcast.
Awesome.
All right, pop that bottle of champagne, Chris.
Ooh, I love champagne. Have I told you how much I love champagne this year?
Yes, you have.
Ooh.
End credits. This episode is produced by these two guys. Clearly, it's been poorly done, but the music has been fabulously done this entire season by the Brothers Moore. And if you are, before we go and kill these two bottles that we've been drinking, actually, I'm pretty close. That if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
You can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at the Good Bottle Podcast, and you can also support the podcast and my desire to now have a crochet suit by checking out anchor.fm/Good Bottle Podcast.
And if you would like for us to cover a story, and if you are on a brand that wants to be featured, please email us at thegoodbottlepodcast@gmail.com, and Drew will definitely get back to you.
Eventually, I will check that email, but it hasn't been recently. As a reminder, you can also purchase the bottles that we drink on this episode at thegoodbottleshop.com. Jayson, thank you so much. You are the best person for doing this and bringing all the positive vibes. We knew you were the right choice for this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We hope to have you back again soon. And Chris, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was amazing.
Thank you.